So today, instead of starting with advice, we thought we'd share a story. A very simple one, but also very real.
Yes, it's the kind of story many people recognize themselves in, especially people who feel like they're late in life.
The story is about a man named Daniel. Daniel was 32 years old, and for most of his life, he believed he was behind everyone else. When he looked around, he saw people who already had careers, confidence, and clear direction. And every time he compared himself, the same thought came back: I started too late. Daniel worked a regular job that paid the bills but didn't excite him. He wasn't unhappy enough to leave, but he wasn't happy enough to feel alive. His days looked fine from the outside. Inside, though, he carried a quiet frustration, like he had missed the right moment to become who he wanted to be.
What's interesting about Daniel is that nothing dramatic was wrong. There was no crisis, no big failure, just a constant feeling that life was happening somewhere else, and he was watching it from a distance. Every time Daniel thought about learning something new or changing direction, he stopped himself. He told himself that younger people had more time, more energy, more chances. He believed that opportunities had an expiration date and that his had already passed.
One evening, after work, Daniel sat alone in a cafe, watching people come and go. Students with books, professionals with laptops, people talking excitedly about plans. And for the first time, instead of feeling jealous, he felt curious. He asked himself a simple question. What if starting late is not the problem? What if never starting is? That question stayed with him. It didn't change his life overnight, but it changed the way he thought. And slowly, that changed the way he acted.
Daniel didn't quit his job or make big promises to himself. He started with something small. He chose one skill he had always wanted to learn and committed to practicing it regularly. Not perfectly, just consistently. At first it felt uncomfortable. He felt slow. He felt inexperienced. But something interesting happened. He felt engaged. For the first time in years, it wasn't just passing time. He was building something.
What Daniel realized was powerful. The idea of being late was never a fact. It was a belief. And once that belief weakened, his fear weakened too. He stopped asking, why didn't I start earlier? And started asking, what can I do today? That shift didn't make life easy, but it made it honest.
Months later, Daniel's life still looked ordinary. Same city, same job. But internally, he was different. He trusted himself more. He stopped measuring his life against other people's timelines. And that's something many of us struggle with, especially learners, beginners, and people starting again.
This is why Daniel's story connects so well with learning English. Many learners feel exactly like him. They believe they started too late. They compare themselves to fluent speakers and feel discouraged before they even try. But language learning doesn't reward perfection. It rewards persistence.
Just like Daniel, progress comes when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start working with the moment you have. Confidence grows through action, not before it.
Daniel didn't suddenly become rich, famous, or extraordinary. His life didn't turn into a movie scene with dramatic music and big applause. But something much more important happened. He became present in his own life. He stopped living on autopilot. He stopped waiting for the right time to arrive before allowing himself to grow. And sometimes that quiet awareness is the real beginning of change.
Yes, and I think that's what makes this story so relatable. Most of us are not standing at the edge of some huge decision. We're standing in the middle of ordinary life, jobs, routines, responsibilities, and telling ourselves that it's too late or that change is for other people. Daniel shows us that the problem is not time. The problem is the story we tell ourselves about time.
Exactly. When Daniel stopped asking, why didn't I start earlier, and started asking, What can I do today? Everything shifted. Not all at once, but slowly and honestly. And that kind of shift doesn't require courage in one big moment. It requires courage in small moments, repeated again and again.
And that's especially important for people who are learning something new, like a language. Many learners feel embarrassed about starting late or making mistakes, but progress doesn't belong to the youngest, the fastest, or the most confident. It belongs to the people who keep showing up, even when it feels uncomfortable.
So if there's one lesson in Daniel's story, it's this. It's never too late to begin. But it's very easy to convince yourself that it is. And once you believe that lie, you stop moving without even realizing it.
But the moment you question that belief, even quietly, your life starts to move again. Not dramatically, not perfectly, just forward. And sometimes, forward is all we really need.
And maybe that's the most important thing to remember. You don't need a new life to begin again. Sometimes, you just need a new way of looking at the one you already have.